Well, hey everybody, I am back, and I want to say how much I appreciate still the continued response to the 30 days of harp videos that I put out. And I did go ahead and take my little 3-day mini sabbatical. It was awesome. I took my Brittany harp with me. My wife didn't get too jealous. It was just me and my harp. And I was able to get away and spend some time just renewing my own soul. And it's really important right now, I think. So much stress, still so much uncertainty. I hope that you're taking time to do something to renew yourself. We can't just give out and give out and give out and never take in and feed our own soul. I hope you're doing that. For me, part of that is feeding my spirit. As a Christian, I do, it's reading the Bible, it's spending time in prayer, it's spending time in music. But whatever you do, I hope you're doing something to keep your heart and your soul renewed during these difficult times, because emotional, spiritual, and mental health is very important. And I hope in some way my channel and these videos and my music can play a part in that. I'm gonna start doing something. I hesitate to say I'm gonna do this every Monday because I'm not really sure. So I'm gonna at least do it today and just see how it goes. I wanted to have just some time where I just play my harp, either this one or the Lorraine, in just an improv fashion. No set music, just allow you to join with me and experience just that mindful playing. Not mindless. I think improv playing is mindful playing, not mindless playing. And I think a lot of people, when they try to do improv, at least the ones that I've talked to that struggle with it, they struggle with it because they're really not sure. Just kind of playing whatever comes next doesn't really work for them. I think improv playing is mindful. I think the best improv playing can happen when we understand what it is that we're doing and how the notes go together, and then not being too stressed about just playing random, or stressed about following any particular melody. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about improv play. Now, improv play is an incredibly personal thing. So everybody's going to do improvisational play a little bit differently. So you can do it differently than I do it, and that's okay. I have no problem with that. But I just want to share with you some of the underlying information that I use when I'm doing improv play. When I went away on this sabbatical, I laid on the couch and I had my harp laying right on my chest, and I just played. And I was thinking about the music, I was feeling the music, but I was still following some basic guidelines. Nobody wants to do improv play and play notes that don't fit well together, because unless that's what you're going for. But if you're looking for something that feels good, like a brook flowing through a forest, or the wind blowing across tall grass in a field, and it just has that flow and that feel and that sense of a unified theme. If that's what you're going for with improv play, and you're just trying to express the emotions that are inside of you, or let some of those emotions out, then I think some of these things will help you. One is to determine what key you're going to play improv in. Now, this harp, I'm actually going to be, when I bought this harp from a very talented harpist, and she bought it in the white, and she did the finishing. She did this artwork here as well, and I just love that, Allie. And I'm going to be indebted forever to Allie for selling me this harp. But it came with these levers, and I'm going to be redoing some of these levers, and I'm actually going to be adding a full set of levers, but I think I'm only going to add them to the left side, and I'm going to go into that maybe in another video about why I'm going to do that. My point is, even with these levers, pretty much when I'm playing on this harp, I play either in the key of C Or I might change a couple of the levers and play in the key of G. Sometimes I play also in A minor or E minor, but let's just keep it simple. Beginner harpists especially, you're going to play a lot in the key of C, and there's nothing wrong with that. The key of C is a wonderful key to play in, and it's one of the easier ones to start with. It's why when you learn any instrument, you play in the key of C. So I'm going to start by playing in the key of C. When I do that, some things will be helpful to keep in mind. That the 4 basic chords in the key of C, or let me go with even more basic than that. The 3 basic chords in the key of C are the C chord, the F chord, and the G chord. Those are sometimes known as the 1, 4, and 5 chord, because if I start on C and I count and give each string a number in ascending order as I go up from one C to the next C, it'd be C is 1, D is 2, E is 3, F is 4, G is 5, A is 6, B is 7, and then C is 8. So an octave, eight notes. On the 1, the C, if I say C chord, on the 4, F chord, and on the 5, G chord, then that is the 1, 4, 5. And that is a pretty common way to play in any major key. So if you're going to play in a different key than C, you would do the same thing. Start on the bottom note, the root note of your scale, and count up. And whichever notes you're on, when you reach 1, 4, and 5, you can use those 3 primary notes and turn them into chords and be able to play in any key. I'm just using C, so it would be C, F, and G. Now, I often like to use the minor 6th, which is the A minor chord, and I love to do that and add some color. So if you want to go to the 6th chord, and you'll know that you can have a minor chord, then that works out well. Now, how do you use those? Well, once you know your 1, 4, and 5 chords, and some people use the 1, 3, and 5. I just like the 1, 4, and 5, and I think that's most frequently the ones that are used, but again, just one man's opinion. Once you know that, then the next thing that comes in is something called chord progression. Chord progression is exactly what it sounds like. It is the progression of chords in a song. How are the chords going to be played? So if I play a C triad, then I play an F triad, then I play a G triad, then I play a C triad. That is a chord progression. Now I'm going to do that without talking, and I want you to hear how this chord progression, not only is it ascending, but it also it builds tension and then releases when I get back to the root note. So let me play those 3 again. Ready? So if I just ended, for example, on the G chord, I'm going to play the 1, 4, and 5, and I'm just going to end on the G chord, and I want you to listen how it sounds unfinished or leaves some unresolved tension. Here we go. I mean, there's something inside of you that's like, it's not finished, it's not finished. And that's that unresolved tension. And when I go back to my C chord, it resolves it. So if I just start on that one, it brings it home. So think about your 1 chord as your home position. Once you leave home, you can go anywhere you want to, within reason, as long as you end up at home again. This is why I don't want to get into too much detail here, but this is why when you're trying to determine a given key that a piece of music is in, say, there's a C major has the same key signature as A minor. I think I'm saying that right. And so how do I know whether I'm in C major or A minor? Sometimes it can be on the note you start in, but very often it's on the last melody note of a piece of music is most often the last melody note is the root note of the key you're in. So if I'm playing in the key of C, many times my last note is going to be C, which is why you'll see a lot of people, they'll end a song that they're playing in the key of C, for example, and they'll end it with that ascending scale. And so that's C. It's the end. It resolves. It brings it down. It brings it back home again. All right. So when I'm playing improv, I know what key I'm playing in. I find my 1, 4, and 5 chords, and then what do I do? Well, then I start. I could start with just playing those chords by way of improv. So I can just play a C chord, play an F chord, play a G chord, and then back to a C chord. Now, do I always have to do them C, F, G, C, F, G? No, I don't. So I can hop around. I can go C, F, G, F, C, G, F, G, C. I can hop around, again, just as long as I wind up back on my home base again. It is often the case that you will play your 5 chord before ending back at home again. So even if I'm jumping around from G to F, I'm probably going to play G before I get back to C again. So when I'm playing improv, I'm keeping chord progression in mind, and I'm just recognizing that I can play a lot of songs, and I can play just a lot of improv melody using 3 basic chords. Now, how do I know which chord goes with which melody note? That is something that takes a little bit of learning. Some people have a quote ear for music, and I find most often that's just people who've spent a lot of time with music, and so they've learned to hear it. But it's very few people just have that natural gift. You might be saying, well, I just don't have the gift for music. Music is something that you can learn. And most of us that say, well, I just have a natural gift for music, that natural gift comes after a lot of time of spending time with the music. So don't be discouraged. You can learn and you can do it. But I know, so I can share with you, that as I'm playing around with the melody in my right hand, I know that if a note that I'm going to play a chord with, for example, if I'm going to play a C chord, I can play I can play C, E, G, any of those, C, D, E, G, and C again, and that goes very well when I'm playing a C chord. So let me just say, let's say if I was going to start off with improv, and I did something like this. Okay, so I played C, G, E, and then I just felt like going to the F. Well, if I'm starting on F, it's like my next phrase in the music, then I'm probably going to be playing an F chord to go with it. So let me do that. Now all I did there was played my C chord with C, E, and G, the notes from my C triad, and then F. All I did there was I added an A. But an A is one of the notes of my F triad. Okay, so I know, hey, if I'm playing an F, an A, or a C, it can go with my F chord. So this is something, now let me back up what I mean by triads. Especially on piano, you play triads a lot at first. But we've talked about the 1, 4, and 5 being the chords. The triad of those major chords is the 1, 3, and 5 notes of the scale. So again, starting on C, C is 1, D is 2, E is 3, F is 4, G is 5. So C, E, G is my C major triad. F, A, and C is my F major triad, because now F is my 1. Okay, so if I'm looking for my F major triad, I start on F and play F, G, A, B, C. Those 5 notes, and F is 1, A is 3, and C is 1. If I'm looking for my G major triad, I start on G, and that becomes 1, and I count 1, 2, 3. B is my 3rd note from G. C is my 4th note from G. And D is my 5th note from G. And so G, B, D is my G major triad. Based on those triads, I know that if I'm playing improv and I land on a note that is in a given triad, I know that which left-hand chord will go along with that note. So F, I can play my F chord. But what happens if I play this G note, knowing that G is both the 5th note of my C major triad and the 1st note of my G major triad? Which one do I play? Do I play a C chord along with that, or do I play a G chord along with that? This is the beauty of improv. You can play either one you want. Because if I play G and I use a C chord, it sounds just fine. And if I play G with a G chord, listen to those again. I'm playing the same note in the right hand. Because G is both in the C major triad and the G major triad. And that's the beauty once you learn. And you can take everything I'm saying from the C major scale and you can transfer it over to whatever scale or whatever key you want to play in. It works the same. But C is the simplest for most of us when we get started. So again, what if I wanted to play an A? Well, I know that A is in my F major triad. We haven't talked a lot about the A minor triad, but it's also obviously in my A minor triad. And both of those sound fine. If I play this B, I know this B is only, if I'm not mistaking this here, yeah, B is only in my G major triad. So if I play a B, I know I'm going to be using a G. All right? So let's recap. Playing in any key for improv, I want to know what are my 1, 4, and 5 chords in that key. And I do that by starting on the note of the key I'm playing in and counting up, and the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord. Then I want to know, and you may know these automatically, but you may have to learn them, especially if you're just learning music. I want to know which notes are in those major triads. So if C, F, and G, and I do that by starting on, in the case of C, C becomes 1. And then D is 2, E is 3. So my 1, 3, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So put your fingers right on the strings and count 1. That's one of my notes. 2. D is not one of the notes in a major triad. 3 is E. So now I have C and E. 4 is F, but that's not. I need to get to 5. 5, that's G. So I have 1, 3, 5. I go to F in the case of an F major triad, and again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I know which notes fall on the 1, 3, and 5. So 1, 4, and 5 are the chords we are going to use, and 1, 3, and 5 are the notes in the major triads, which we're going to use with building our right hand melody. Wow, that's a lot of information. Please feel free. If I've said something wrong, sometimes you're sitting and looking at a camera and you don't say something exactly right. Please feel free to ask questions in the comments below. But so I'm going to just play a simple melody. I'm going to try to resist using the A minor, though I love to do that. But I'm going to try to resist doing that. And I'm just going to play a simple improvisational melody. I'm just going to play around, and I'm going to be using my triads, the notes from my triads, to help me determine which left hand chord I'm going to play. I'm not following any given music, but I do have some underlying guidelines that free me. You know, there's a saying that said, "He who is a slave to the compass has the freedom of the seas." When you know the underlying rules of navigation, you can go anywhere you want to go. All right? So that I might just sit down, and once I know those things, I can just enjoy some playing. I didn't do anything there but use the notes from the triads to determine what my left-hand chords were going to be. I started at home, I went on a wonderful journey, and I ended at home. I hope you found this to be useful. Please let me know if you have any questions. And try this out on your harp with using some of these suggestions. And I'd love to hear what you come up with. Tell me what frustrations you had. Tell me what I didn't make clear enough. Help me to be able to help you to enjoy playing your harp and just enjoy making a beautiful improvisational music for yourself and for those that you love. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I'll see you again soon.